elephant has a lot smoother skin. They come from a cooler climate than the African. A lot more tree coverage. They don't need as much of that protection. That skin is very strong, very durable, but it is real sensitive. So they can actually feel a mosquito bite. Real sensitive to touch. People like to ask us where the best place to touch the elephants is. Really anywhere. Excellent feeling throughout the whole body. Their hearing is excellent. Their ear canal is on the outside here. When they open their ears, they have giant sonars. So they can communicate miles apart from each other. They can do a high frequency pitch that we can't hear with our ears. It's like a silent whistle. They also rumble. The rumble is where they send vibrations through the earth, and they can feel those vibrations miles away through their feet. They can do a loud squealy noise, loud yell, sometimes sounds like a human yelling. Excellent communicators among themselves. Also the trumpet. The trumpets, when they blow all the air through their nose, creates a trumpet sound. They'll really only do the trumpet if they're startled, or they're trying to warn the other elephants that there might be a threat. You'll hear that trumpet. Behind the ear is very important for the elephant. There's a lot of blood vessels behind their ears. So when they fan their ears, it acts like a radiator and cools down their whole blood system. Elephants do not sweat, so the only other way they stay cool is by throwing mud, dirt, hay, water, whatever they can get on their backs to really cool themselves off. Because this ear is so important to them, you might notice little holes in the ear, little rips throughout the ear, little notches missing. If they get a cut, a scratch that gets infected, they actually just dry that portion, drop it to the ground, eliminate it. They cannot afford for the infection to spread throughout the whole ear. So the ear becomes the fingerprint for an elephant. All elephants totally different ears. Sometimes you'll notice a big hole, a big rip, even a quarter of the ear missing. Very natural for them. All right, so their eyes are up front here. They kind of protrude a little bit, so they can almost see all the way behind them. Great vision up close. Anything on the ground, anything standing around them, they have good vision. But at a distance, it starts to get blurry for an elephant. Up close though, perfectly clear. All right, her tusk up front. These are her teeth on the outside of the body. There's actually a nerve that runs down the center of the tusk here. It stops about 2 to 3 inches from the tip. These tusks grow throughout their lifetime. They can break, and that nerve could get exposed, it could get infected. If it does get infected, you have to come almost all the way up here to the eye to remove the whole tusk. Usually though, luckily, it doesn't get infected. Those continue to grow. They can grow all different ways. Sometimes the tusks cross. They can go right, left, down, up. Sometimes they grow straight on some elephants. So these teeth can grow differently on the outside of the body. The African female, like Lou, does have big tusk, ivory. The Asian female has very small ivory. You can really only see it if they pick up their lips, little pieces under here. That's normal for the female Asian. Now the males, the bulls, they have the dominant tusk, 2-3 times as thick, some up to 14 feet long on some of the males. Huge ivory in the males. All right, her trunk up front. This is her trunk, her nose, her hand. She actually has 2 fingers at the bottom of the trunk, and she can pick up a dime with the 2 fingers. An Asian elephant, a little different, just 1 finger and a palm, so they like to kind of curl their foot in more. But this trunk is made of all muscles. Over 100,000 muscles in the trunk. A muscle breaks into another muscle, and muscle fibers go all the way down. Makes it real flexible. It can expand, retract like an accordion. They're also very strong. With this trunk alone, they can pick up 300 to 700 pounds of weight. If they use their ivory, their tusks to help, they can lift up to 1,000 pounds. So a lot of capacity to lift. Lou's going to give you a slight example of how she uses her fingers to pick up an object. You have a couple treats for her, and we'll see how those fingers work.
You feeling great? You gotta be brave. That's what I'm gonna do. You gotta hurry sometimes. You feeling great? Are you feeling great? All right, buddy. It's your time to shine, my friend. Right here. Put your hand out. She's gonna come to you, okay?
Again, watch how she uses her fingers. So that's how she uses her fingers to pick up objects. Excellent with the 2 fingers. She can actually pick up a single blade of grass. Some days with the apple, she'll pick it up just by the stem. So it is true that an elephant never forgets. So their memory banks are 3 times larger than ours. The reason for that might be they drink water in one spot. 5 years later, 10 miles away, they can remember the same spot where they got the water. If they like somebody pets them a lot, gives them a lot of treats, they could pick you out of a crowd a year later. So real intelligent when it comes to memory. Excellent memory. All right, going to talk a little bit now about elephant conservation. So a couple years ago now, I was able to go to the International Elephant Foundation for their annual conservation and research symposium in South Africa. So it was a week-long event. And to meet with researchers, elephant conservationists from all over the world. So really got to learn a lot. Unfortunately, the elephant population is in a big decline. So in 1930, there were over 10 million elephants roaming Africa. Today, it's about 350 to 400,000 of the African elephants left. The Asian elephant is far more endangered. There's only about 40,000 of the Asian elephants left. The main reason for this is all the poaching that's going on for their ivory. They're saying almost 100 a day are going down from the poaching alone in Africa. Also, the human-elephant conflict is a big issue, especially for the Asian elephant. So this past year in Sri Lanka, they lost 420 elephants being killed by the natives, and the elephants killed 120 of the natives. So they're really battling it out over the land, over the resources, creating a major conflict there. So what we're doing at Myakka Elephant Ranch to help, we've committed a portion of our proceeds to go directly to the Elephant Foundation, creating a great partnership with them. Right now, we're working on building anti-poaching ranger stations in Uganda and a couple of projects with the Sumatran Asian elephant. So we're real excited about that partnership. Hopefully it makes a bit of a difference. By you guys being here, you are helping to support elephant conservation, along with really supporting our 3 elephants year-round. Anything you guys need a gift shop, any donations, does go directly to helping elephants. Playing with the food. Alright, so next up, we're going to bring Carol out. Carol's really going to show you those differences because she's an Asian elephant. So we'll get Carol out here and start talking about her. Yeah, so here comes Carol. Carol is 49 years old, and she's an Asian elephant. If you look at Carol, you can start to see those big differences. So a lot smaller ears, a total different backbone, total different skin. Carol actually has 2 big humps on the top of her head, where Lou has more of a round head. So the Asian elephant is actually more related to the woolly mammoth than they are to the African elephant. Totally separate species. You notice a lot of freckles on the front of her face, on her ears. These freckles are called depigmentation. It's a characteristic of the mainland Asian elephant. So there are 4 different subspecies for the Asian elephant, and one of the ways you can tell them apart is which ones have these freckles. For the African elephant, they actually have 2 total separate species. The forest African elephant, and like Lou, the savanna African elephant. So the forest elephant tends to be a lot smaller, kind of hold their heads down, they could have straight ivory. But the savanna elephant is actually the biggest elephant. One more thing with Carol here, she does have tusked ivory, but they're very small. You can only see them if I pick up her lip there, little pieces of ivory. That's normal for the female Asian. The longest they'll stick out is about 2 to 3 inches there. The African female, and then the males, they're the ones with the huge tusks. All right, I'm going to turn it over to my sister Julia, so she can tell you about our community outreach program.
All right, we want to thank you all so much for coming out to Myakka Elephant Ranch. And remind everyone, we are a nonprofit conservation education center. So our main goals here at the ranch are education, conservation, and experience. We believe this experience here today is what's going to lead to a lasting conservation effort. So thank you for being here. You're not only helping support these elephants and elephants in the wild, you're also supporting our community outreach program. So 10% of our experiences go to our local community partners. We have Veterans Elephant Therapy with Operation Warrior Resolution, the Loveland, the Haven, different disability groups come out free of charge, as well as Manatee Children's Services and more. So you're also helping to educate those that really wouldn't come out otherwise. These elephants are really ambassadors to those in the wild, and you all are here to learn and become ambassadors for them as well. So if you post any pictures after your visit, please use hashtag Myakka Elephant Ranch. If you go to community, invite your friends and family to like our Facebook page, so we can really educate more people on the needs for elephant conservation. The more people that learn, the more people that are aware, hopefully the more elephants that will be saved. Right now we're doing our annual drawing contest. So all the pictures are posted. So if you go to our Facebook page, you can help pick the winners, like your favorite pictures. Last year, our drawings reached thousands of people. So raising that elephant awareness and continuing that conservation message through the arts is also an awesome way to support elephants. So now we're going to open it up to the fun part. Any questions about elephants?
All right, now anything you want to know about elephants? Questions? Yes. Watermelon. Nice and sweet and juicy. Yeah, watermelon. All types of fruit and vegetables though, as long as it tastes good, we love it. Also candy, but not too much candy. But their diet per day, 15 pounds of grain, like horses. Also special meals, we put the same amount, made especially for elephants. Fruit, vegetables, a lot, but really a treat for them. You cannot eat enough of that to maintain the body weight. Right now they're eating 200 pounds of hay per elephant to maintain that body weight. In the wild, it's been documented an elephant eating 600 pounds of food in one day. So it all depends on the size of the elephant. The bigger, the more food it consumes. All right, yes?
How big do they get compared to that?
Span of growth for an elephant. They reach a plateau, but after that plateau, they crunch up higher and higher. Lou here is 9 feet tall. You measure right at the top of the shoulders. Tallest elephant on record, 13 feet 3 inches. So if we look at this wall over here, the white mark on the bottom is Lou. The second white mark up there was the tallest elephant, a full male African elephant. Humongous. Lou here weighs over 9,000 pounds. Heaviest elephant on record, over 27,000 pounds. So they can get pretty heavy. Another question? Yes, sir. They get along because the way they live, pretty much the same, family-oriented, matriarch, kind of their mother, their boss. The way it works with elephants, all elephants are dominated by this matriarch, an older female, very strong, very intelligent, controls a group of elephants. In the wild, could be 75 elephants in this family group. The male bulls only allowed in the family group no older than 15. Chased away from the family group, live by themselves, among other males, going through a cycle called must. For a month, 60 days, they're unhandleable, fear nothing, come back into the group of females, dominate, pick their mates, mate, go away, and the process continues this way. So whenever you see a group of elephants, usually always been females. Rarely have you seen an adult male. Too dangerous when it comes to cycle. In our case, Lou here, always meant to be a matriarch. Myakka before, protected her, knew she was going to be bigger, stronger, intelligent. We got Patty and Carol 2.5 years ago, and she automatically took that role. So there's no fighting, there's no teasing. They all get along because of the matriarch. If there wasn't a matriarch, then problem. All right, anything else? Yes.
Are they strictly herbivores?
Strictly grass, vegetables. The African likes a lot of roughage, so they'll eat the bark off the trees, peel the bark off of their tusks, twigs and branches you can yank down, chew them up, eat them up completely. The Asians, more of a finer grass they like. Finer grass. But yeah, no meat. Anything else? Yes.
How docile are they? I mean, you can touch the ears, the lips, everything.
In general, elephants are very docile. Very docile, very protective of each other, very caring of certain people, certain elephants they like more than others. But there are bad elephants. And those bad elephants you've heard about, you've seen footage of, kind of repeated over and over again because it really doesn't happen that much. But those guys created an incident, they created another incident, and sure enough, they created a big incident. But in general, no, they're very docile, very, once they know that you're not going to harm them, perfectly comfortable. The only thing that will startle an elephant is a new object or something they've never heard. Just so intelligent to them, it's a threat. So once they know something doesn't hurt them, then they're perfectly comfortable. That's where the saying has come that they're afraid of mice. One runs by, they take their heads out, put their ears out, trumpet. They're not afraid of them, they're just very cautious about anything they're not familiar with. So there is some truth to that. Anything else? Yes. No babies, no babies. I haven't had any babies. We did have 2 bulls at one time. They started coming of age. Our matriarch got very rough with them, so we could not keep them at that time. Nowadays, artificial insemination has really gotten great. Germany developed a way to freeze it, so you got a longer leeway. So now, artificial insemination, we get a chance again to do that.
How many will one mother have?
4, 5, 6, kind of pushing it. It does take 22 months for an elephant to carry, so almost 2 years. Babies are born about 250 pounds, a little bit smaller than the fence line, a little bitty thing. They'll stay with the mother up to 2 years, so almost a 5-year cycle in between birth for elephants. Twins have been born, but rare. It's usually one at a time. Other question? Yes.
Are these the only 2 elephants you've had?
No, we have 3. Patty's coming out shortly. Another Asian elephant is coming out. Yes.
Are they all rescued from this situation, or?
Okay, the history of these guys. Lou here originated from Zimbabwe, country north of South Africa. A 1.5 old, transported by ship into Miami. In '86, and we picked her up there. So we've had her since she was a 1.5 old. Back in the late 70s, 80s, governments in Africa would measure rainfall, how much vegetation, they contain all these different herds of elephants. They would take families of elephants completely down, left the babies as orphans back then. And that's what they would sell to Europe, South America, and the United States. Nowadays, almost impossible. The Asian elephant first put on endangered species, then they put the African on endangered species. Illegal to sell or trade either. Both protected nowadays, very difficult to bring over. Carol Patty coming out shortly, originated from Thailand. Came over when they were a year old. They were born in a farm, elephant breeding farm, so they actually were born in captivity. They've been with the same family up to 2.5 years ago, and then we acquired them to make them part of Lou's family. So almost the same, originated from the home. All right, another question? Yes.
How long do elephants usually live for?
Average age for an elephant on the books is a little high. They say 50 to 70 years. But in all reality, the African, 50 years old, you start worrying about that age, getting up there. The Asian elephant, 60 years old. So the Asian does have a longer lifespan than the African. Oldest Asian on record, though, 86. And for the African, 83. So they can live a long time. Stay healthy, live a long time. Yes, question? Question? No? Okay. Question? Yes. Well, there's a difference between a rumble and the noise she's making is a purr sound. What it is, she's vibrating her tongue, and when she does that, it comes out like a purr. One out of 11 Africans will kind of figure that out, do that. It's not a common noise for an elephant. The Asian cannot do it. Their tongue just doesn't roll like that to be able to do it. Elephants do not breathe through the mouth, they breathe through that nose. They have 2 individual nostrils separating that trunk, and it separates each nostril. So they do not breathe through the mouth, through the nose. Yes?
Do you have a local vet who can handle it?
Yes, we have somebody really close to us, Dr. Holyfield, been with us a long time. Then we acquired a new vet that's worked with Sioux elephants, all types of exotic animals. So he's on call. And then we have a specialist in Missouri that just specializes in elephant. If anything major, he would come in. Anything else? Yes. We can actually hold 10 right now.